for a 1,000 user, basically there is a TCO calculator for ECM. Fortunately, there are predefined ways of calculating your cost for enterprise content management. So we put all the formula, and I have a 20-page document explaining all this concept. But the crux of it is basically you save not only the money, but also a lot of pain in terms of maintenance and upgrades and future and so on. Now, there's a lot of proprietary technology stack which you would like to, basically I would like to cover a few of them. We have operating systems, database, middleware, and ECM, business intelligence, ERP, BPM, and so on. So let me go very quickly. Operating systems is basically migrate. If you are using any one of these stacks and proprietary, there are very good open source alternatives available. In fact, there are so many other products available, I could not fit into this one slide. So I picked up some of them which I feel are relevant and important for my talk here. So obviously you have seen the operating system, people are already understood that okay, they can migrate to Linux. And similarly for the database, and similarly for the identity management especially. And then the middleware, it's basically controlled by BA, Oracle, and Microsoft and IBM. You can go JBoss, and then Red Hat. And then the SOA, the Enterprise Service Bus, is basically we have a very nice project called MuleSource, which gives you Enterprise Service Bus and SOA kind of architectures. Similarly for development tools, which are predominantly now you can use Eclipse as a main IDE. The infrastructure, ECM, business intelligence, ERP, BPM, e-commerce, portals, social collaboration, web content management, mobile and SMS, email integrations, because email is also considered as content for you to store and archive. And then the scanners and fax machines and all integrating into the system. And then the email integration. So basically, if you look at the whole open source enterprise application stack, you have an alternatives basically. So I'm going to skip most of these because I got an indication that my time is up now. Okay, so just to give you high level overview, let me skip through some of these slides. Now we have documents and records management. The reason why I'm showing these slides is most of the people, sales people come and say, oh, we have these things, and then say, okay, fine, we already have these things in open source alternative also. So what you need to do is when you're evaluating, you need to evaluate it very subjectively to see what is required by your company or as a government organization, and say, oh, that is how you can evaluate and say, oh, there's an open source alternative, that's how it is. So let me skip through some of these slides very quickly and let me go to the final slide. So ERM, we have e-commerce, and we have contract lifecycle management to manage all your legal documentation, contracts and procurement. And we have invoice management systems in place with open source, which takes care of invoice, AR, AP, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and so on. And adoption of open source. So let me quickly cover the last two slides. So basically, there are various ways people look at it, and this is not a general Gartner kind of formula to say follow this. It's all depending upon how you see it and adopt it as per your requirement. One way to look at it is candidate for immediate migration is basically you can look at information-oriented, non-critical business applications, which are good candidates for you to migrate immediately into open source. And then you can look at some of the applications which you use it internally, and then you can look at external facing web applications such as social media, web retail stores and all, where you get a confidence in open source. And then also at the end you can look at mission critical external facing website like core banking, internet banking, transactional CRMs and ERP systems and all, where you in these systems what we prefer is we don't want to take up a big bang approach of putting 40 developers and taking 1 year to develop this and all. So basically you go in a phased approach. You take up a pilot project for 3-4 weeks and do module by module and roll it out into production, right? That is one approach, especially agile based process where people adopt it, especially with open source. Now, courtesy Professor Krishnan, yesterday I picked it up from his slide. So we have FOSS ecosystem. Now what is important for you is, especially for government and industry, if you look at these two, so you have options. So you have proprietary salespeople knocking the door and say, we have this solution, and you have an option of, there's a huge bunch of open source projects available in the market. So it's a choice basically you make. So you say, are you going to look at this, or say, are you going to adopt open source? So the ecosystem will automatically build up based on the certain decisions you make, and the other two things will automatically fall into the picture where you get a lot of support from academia and community. So this is the final slide. I'm not saying, basically just open source is ultimate thing and everything and so on, but don't buy and also don't trust open source right away. Basically, you have one advantage with open source is you can try. You have an option of trying it before adopting it full-fledged way. Do a pilot implementation and consider long-term goals before making a decision. Yeah. And just to summarize, enterprise and government can leverage open source for business applications. There are some 200,000 projects in SourceForge, but I'm not saying all of them are enterprise ready, but there are many of them are enterprise ready. So you need to look at and see which one are best suited, for your business. And then, if any questions, I'm here at software booth, and I can meet you. I'm here today and tomorrow also. Yeah. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I don't know whether I have time to take questions. Yeah.